Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Highest rated show, live show on the station, and we do appreciate that very much for all of you tuning in for the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. And, of course, we're also streaming on that Odyssey app. Get it now because then you can listen whenever you want. It's got a really cool rewind feature on it, too. So you can go back to whatever point you wanted to or anything like that. And it's AUDACY, so download that baby today and make your phone happy. And then, of course, we are also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So if you want to join that live stream, you can get in the chat box and comment on us while we're doing the show and say, hey, Mark, you're right. Hey, Mark, you're wrong. Hey, Mark, why don't you just give the reins to Coach Rosey because you suck. Yeah, you can do that. Whatever you want to do. It's all good. So we do appreciate you joining us however you like, but do it all. Have a great time. All right. We are going to be covering a lot of interesting wrestling news this week as we start getting ready for Survivor Series and AEW Full Gear at the end of the month. It should be a pretty wild end to the month of November for sure, as the road to WrestleMania is starting, getting the road to All In starting already. As you know, we're not going to forget about that. And of course, the roads also lead to this guy. Got to get him on board here from adfreeshows.com. Josh Rosenbaum, otherwise known as Coach Rosey. What's up, sir?
What's going on, Mark? Good to see you this morning. It's a beautiful day outside, and wrestling is at its peak.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Arizona's doing okay down there. We got a little cloudy up here today, man. A little cloudy. What are you guys sending some stuff up here?
You can have it for all I care. I'd love to see some cold, some rain, and some snow, but either way, it's a great day.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, very happy to have you on board with us today, as you'll be taking us with me through the first hour. And right now, it looks like I'm going solo the second hour. That's okay, though. We'll have a great time. Coach, the Bloodline, it is now official. We've got a War Games match at Survivor Series. But there's some interesting twists to this, as there were hints that there's going to be fifth members on the team. Sami Zayn is going over with the OG guys, Roman Reigns and the Usos. Solo's boys will be on the other side of it, but we may get some additions to this. First, I guess I'll ask, who do you think could be joining them? I know we have Hikuleo kind of waiting in the wings, but is there a good fit for Roman's team on this whole thing, or should they just leave it at 4 and fight it out?
Yeah, 4 against 4. Why try to recreate things? All 8 of the people that would be in the 4-on-4 have established storylines, have people that they've been fighting. So why try to confuse the fans? Let's just go 4-on-4. And my prediction is Solo's Bloodline wins.
Ooh, already throwing that out there. Wow, nice. Why do you think that they should go over?
Maybe. Did it freeze up? Well, let me just say this. Here's why I think so. Because the story is too fresh. I'm going off of my wrestling knowledge to think to myself, they need to expand this. It's too soon for Roman to get what he needs. He needs to face a little bit more adversity. Maybe somebody turning on him. Maybe that fifth guy coming into the War Games match to help the 4-on-4 win. Who knows? But there's still a lot of meat on the bone of the storyline. And what did Paul Heyman say? We're in the bottom of the third. Who knows with this new storyline, what inning we're in. But I'm all in to check it out.
Could we see The Rock? Do you think The Rock might show up?
I don't think he'll have any physicality, but he might pop his face out there. But nope, too soon for The Rock, and not a big enough event. Unfortunately, Survivor Series is still considered one of the main ones, but if you ask the fans, it's kind of an afterthought nowadays. But I'm going back to the teams. It's going to really bring back some nostalgia, and hopefully we get some more team matches assigned, because it was cool when Raw went against SmackDown and when they kind of kept score. So the Survivor Series has an opportunity to be really great this year.
And, one thing that I'm seeing a lot of online is that people are somewhat feeling like these Bloodline versus Bloodline matches are getting a little repetitive. And I'm almost wondering if they need to do something at Survivor Series to kind of narrow this down. I mean, Roman did challenge Solo to a match to become the tribal chief. And I almost wonder if we shouldn't just be kind of working our way now towards that showdown, which, I don't know if it's a Royal Rumble match, because I don't know if you want to have Roman and Solo in that match, but I don't know. I'd kind of like to see this. You're going to have, whenever you have groups, they're going to have crazy fights and stuff like that. And you've got some pretty good tag team matchups that are going to be involved there, and Jacob Fowle too. But I kind of feel like I'm at the point where I want to see a big match with Roman and Solo, and eventually leading to some sort of confrontation with The Rock. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that's just how I feel about it. I feel like it's time, and this thing's got to wrap up sometime soon. I don't know if you want to drag this out a whole nother year, but that, I mean, what do you think about that, Coach?
I think it'll end at WrestleMania one way or another, and there's so many different options that it's very hard to make a guess on how it's going to swing, because there's 10, 15, 20 different ways that this can go. It's not as formulaic as it used to be, which is great. It keeps us guessing, the established fans, and keeps the new fans glued to their seat, because they're going to be wondering what's going on. I mean, as an established fan, we kind of make guesses, but it sure is fun when they even baffle us, which could happen in this case.
Yeah, and like I said, we're still waiting for Hikuleo, and they just signed Lance Anoa'i to a contract. So after him trying to get into WWE for a while, now he's in the mix. I doubt they're going to get him into this by WrestleMania. I mean, he was recovering from some injuries, and he's got a long way to go to really be ready for it. But yeah, I'm not saying I'm totally tired of it, but I do feel like if we start pulling too many people into this, we're going to get into NWO Wolfpack territory. And, and I just like, come on, let's finish this up and move on. So we'll see. But but the Bloodline continues to dominate WWE television for sure. We also had a really cool announcement, and I was excited about this, that the WWE will be having a Women's United States Championship. It's funny that I had actually asked Shawn Michaels when they were all coming here to Las Vegas about adding in a secondary title on the main roster, because they were adding the North American title at that point on NXT. And I can't begin to tell you how thrilled I am that the ladies are going to get a secondary title. My only gripe is, I wish it would have been the Intercontinental title, because it's more connected to WWE than the history of the U.S. title. But otherwise, I'm good. And, I think it's time. I think the roster's deep enough to at least have one. But does one mean two, Coach? Did you like the announcement, and do you think there's more coming?
I like the announcement, and I'm going to start lobbying right now to make Chelsea Green the first ever United States champion. Just think, if she would represent our country, traveling the world with that belt, she is what a female in the United States is all about. And I think that she should be our first female United States champion. I don't believe they should get a Netflix championship and any of those other television channels. Leave that to AEW. They got the market cornered on naming belts after the TV channels they're on. let's just keep it simple. Make Chelsea the U.S. Champ, and keep Tiffy on Tiffy time to be the world champ.
Yeah, it was interesting you brought that Netflix belt up too. But first, actually, let me deal with who I think should be the champion. And I know the internet is screaming for Chelsea to win that belt. And I think that it would be a cool option to have her do it at some point. But I have one person in mind that I would like to see win that title. It's Natalya. I think she deserves a great reward for sticking around, for her longevity, and to have her be the first United States champion, to me, would be something really special. And Chelsea, I love Chelsea, don't get me wrong, and I think she would be a great U.S. champion. But my
and it's funny that we're both suggesting Canadians to be the United States champion, but that's wrestling nowadays.
Good point. But yeah, I'm good either way. But I do hope Natty's the one that gets to be the inaugural champion. That would be really cool for her. But yeah, you also brought up Tiffany Stratton had said that they think that they should make a Netflix title. Of course, Raw is going over to Netflix in January, and they should make a Netflix championship. So you kind of be along the lines of, AEW naming their titles, TNT title, TBS title. You have the digital media title in TNA. But I have to agree with you on that. I just, no, I don't want it. That just sounds so cheesy to me. There's no pro wrestling history on Netflix. Part of the reason that Tony, I think, did the TNT title and the TBS title wasn't just to brand it with their broadcasting networks, but there's a ton of history of professional wrestling on TBS and TNT. I mean, TBS goes back to the early 80s, and you're just kind of pigeonholing that if you make it a Netflix. It just sounds weird too. I'm the Netflix champ. Is it like, does that mean you're chilling better than everybody else? I mean, no, I think that it's just, sorry, Tiffy. I love you, but no.
Your time's coming, Tiffy. Don't worry. You'll be the champ very soon.
Yeah, she won't be. I don't think she's going to be thinking about a Netflix title that much when she's sitting on that Money in the Bank briefcase. Yeah, what do you think she's got to cash that in? I mean, she's been teasing this for a while. I'm just wondering when it's actually going to happen. Do you like do you like drawing it out, or do you think that people should get it done quick? I mean, there's a couple different schools on that.
Yeah, no, I'm always old school that if the person doesn't need the title, space it out. And Tiffy is so popular right now that she doesn't need a title to get her over. But when she will need a title is when it's at a huge event, a huge pay-per-view, a huge venue where she can get her moment in the sun and get that pop that she deserves. So Survivor Series, maybe. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, more likely.
Yeah, we're still waiting to see more matches at Survivor Series. That would be interesting. I'm still, I guess, I'm sure it's probably going to be on Nia, but who knows? This Royal Rumble is going to be fun. I hate to look past Survivor Series, but man, this Royal Rumble is going to be off the chain. There's going to be so many storylines brought to the forefront at this year's Royal Rumble. I cannot wait for this one. This is going to be something.
Yeah, we're the road to WrestleMania has begun early this year. I mean, the whole lights and the glamour of Vegas is really creating some great storylines, and I'm all in. Like I said, it's going to be a fun 6 months.
Yeah, we can't wait for it to be here too, man. I assume you're coming up, right?
Oh, for sure. I've already taken the week off of school.
Nice. There you go. All right. Well, we're going to take a break for head back into our second segment here on the Mark Hoke Show. Coach Rosey, Josh Rosenbaum from adfreeshows.com, joining us here in hour number 1. And when we get back, we got some AEW news. Full Gear's starting to line up. Malakai Black, what's he going to do? That the WWE ID program. We talked about that a lot with Brett Gilmore last week. Want to hit it a little bit more. We'll get it when we come back.
101.5 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's bring it on back for the second segment of Hour 1 of the Mark Hoke Show. Very happy to have you joining us here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We're streaming on that Odyssey app, AUDACY, and we're also live streaming this baby on YouTube, X, and Facebook. So we'd love to have you join us there as well and interact with the show. Along with me today for Hour 1 is Coach Rosey, Josh Rosenbaum from Ad Free Shows. Very happy to have the coach back in the house. How's the coaching going, by the way?
We have our scrimmage next week, and then we travel to California next Friday for a tournament. So it's going to be a pretty special season. Preseason rankings came out in the state of Arizona, and we're in the top 5, so we're excited.
Nice. Well, good luck to you, sir. That's pretty amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's been harder and harder to coach. I mean, I coached volleyball for 20 years, and I'll tell you what, it's harder and harder as the years go on, and more traveling and all sorts of crazy stuff teams have to do. I mean, it's a lot of work for you, Coach.
It is, and now we have to manage NIL money, AAU club programs, sponsors. It's a lot more than just the X's and O's.
Yeah, which is kind of a shame, but that's the way the world goes sometimes. But we wish you all the best. And what high school are you at, Coach?
Sunny Slope High School.
Sunny Slope High School. So get on the Sunny Slope High School bandwagon right now for Arizona state champs.
Let's do it.
See, you're scared. You don't want to jinx anything. I don't blame you either. I understand that. All right. We have some other interesting developments going on in the world of pro wrestling as more people are getting added to the WWE ID program. And if you missed us talking about that last week, it's a new program that WWE is selecting independent wrestlers that they are helping to back a little bit. And they've also picked out multiple facilities and companies that are independent companies that they want to use as their training grounds. So it's kind of a step up, kind of puts you in the AA level, I suppose, for independent wrestling. And we have some more information about that. Right now, William Regal is apparently the guy that is handling a lot of this, but he's also going to be working with Timothy Thatcher, which I think is a great choice to work with Regal on that. They have added Marcus Mathers, who I've seen work, guy from the East Coast, but he was out here and wrestled once, and a great guy. Sam Holloway has been added, and the ones that were introduced first, Kate Steele, Jack Cartwheel, Cappuccino Jones, Bryce Donovan, and Zara Zacher. So, and hopefully I got that last name right. But, there's a lot more out there, Coach. What do you think about this program? Because there are people saying, it's great, it helps support these guys, but then at the same time, it locks them into certain promotions. It locks them out of going to AEW or TNA. Well, TNA they'll be okay, but AEW if they want to go there. So there are some pluses and minuses to this. How do you feel about this WWE ID program?
I think it can only help. Like I said last week, everybody wants a WrestleMania moment. And if this could fast track you to the WWE, I think people will give up their so-called rights to go fight at AEW or go fight in another small promotion because they're in the promotion. I really enjoyed watching William Regal go around in the locker room, kind of tell them that they're going to be part of the program. That adds to the storyline aspect of it. But personally, for each wrestler, they're going to have to make a decision on what's best for them. The opportunity to get to WWE and learn their system, or go to AEW, go to some of the smaller promotions, possibly toil through the independents, and make their timeline to get to WWE a little bit later. Either way, it's a personal decision for them, and they'll make the best one for themselves. But it does give wrestlers an opportunity to make their dream come true and get to WWE.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this last week, too, that I have a feeling AEW is going to have to respond to this. They really are, because if WWE is going out and locking up top independent talent, AEW is going to get left with, and I'm not saying that they're not going to pick out good talent. I mean, there's hundreds of independent promotions across the country, but you would have to, you kind of have to do the same thing to get the prospects. Like we're talking about with what's going on in college and high school sports, where you have NIL money and everything else to entice people to come to your school. I think that AEW is going to have to step forward and make a response to this program to try and funnel talent coming their way too.
And each wrestler has a gimmick. Now, if your gimmick is a wrestler, well, then you might not want to sign the WWE ID program, because AEW has less story, less sports entertainment, and more wrestling. Well, if your gimmick's like the cartwheel guy, Jack, who I love, go to WWE, learn sports entertainment, perfect your gimmick, perfect your craft. Okay, so everyone's got their own style, and the WWE ID program, the style that they would learn might not match up with what those guys want to do. So if AEW wants to start something up, maybe they should focus on the pugilism of professional wrestling, have a wrestling school, and really create the very best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird spot too for Cody's Nightmare Factory, because that used to be one of the main training grounds for AEW, and now they're part of the WWE ID program. So I'm curious. I'm going to be curious to see how AEW totally responds to all this. Maybe make a Ring of Honor school or something like that. ROH used to have one, so we'll check it out. We'll see what goes on there, but it'll be interesting. Do you have any? And I hate to ask name questions like this, but do you know any independent wrestlers that come to, just off the top of your head, that come to mind that you think should be getting an opportunity like this, or you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. There's one guy I know by the name of Big Ben Bishop. He's 6'12" of pure manhood. He's been getting mentored by Jeff Jarrett. He's had a match in AEW. He's traveling around to independents. He's honing his craft on social media. He's got great ring awareness, great skill. He would be a great person to be part of this WWE ID program, because not only does he wrestle, but he's great on the mic and has a great personality. So he would be great for WWE, who loves to have big men. How about you?
Well, here in Vegas, there's quite a few people that do come to mind. One is kind of going all over the place is Danny Limelight. I think it's time that Danny gets his shot. I know that there were some issues when he was with AEW, and I think it's pretty safe to say those issues are taken care of. So I'd love to see Danny getting a shot in one of the two major organizations. And then the guys that I'm sure you've probably seen, the Lights Camera Faction guys, Ice Williams and Braxton and Watson and Fresco. Those guys are fantastic. And Ice has such a great mind for pro wrestling. It is ridiculous. And Braxton's so charismatic. And Fresco and Watson just work so well together. That is a terrific group. And even though we've had some booking fun with them a little bit, keeping those four guys together, as hard as that is sometimes, they've managed to pretty much do it and be successful. And I would love to see those guys get their chance. I mean, they've been on AEW TV a little bit. Braxton got a little cameo over here when we were at the NXT show over here at the Apex. I think the world of all five of those guys. And like I said, there's a lot more here too. And, but I'm just, throwing some names out that really stand out to me. So I'd like to see them get involved. I think it would be terrific, or AEW just scoops them up, one of the two. So
yeah, they're a pretty good faction as it is. It wouldn't take much polishing to get them on Ring of Honor television as a faction.
No, it wouldn't. And I'm shocked they haven't been signed yet, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what everybody's waiting for. I mean, Tony's used LCF quite a bit on television already, so he knows them. It's just a matter of when. So just some thoughts on that. Going to the AEW side, by the way, there's a lot of talk about Malakai Black. And Of course, the House of Black still rolling along, but his contract apparently is coming up soon. WWE does have interest in him. Do you think that Malakai should stay or go? If you just based on how the AEW run has gone to this point, if you were him, Coach, and let's just say the contract money was equal, which direction would you head? Would you go back or would you stay with AEW?
I would send him. I would go to WWE. The theatrics of his character, the mysticism of his character, is a lot more set for the WWE.
And I apologize, Coach froze up there on the feed. But, one thing that I would say about Malakai is that he's in a really difficult spot because I really felt like, this is a guy that should have been a champion at some point in AEW. Other than the trios titles, I'm really surprised that he hasn't been pushed as a singles star yet. I almost feel like maybe Brody's gotten pushed more than him, to be honest with you.
For sure.
The other issue too is, what do you decide that you want to do with Buddy and Brody? Do you want to keep them in that gimmick, or do you want to turn them loose a little bit? Because I know there's a lot of people that would like to see both of those guys get their shot to kind of shine on their own. And Brody's gotten his chance. Buddy has not. And it blows me away because, what an athlete he is. He knows what he's doing. I would really like to see him get more of a singles run instead of being, kind of the Buddy Jack Roberts of the House of Black, because, he's taken all these losses and I don't think it's fair to him. So.
No, I agree. And plus, both of their significant others are in WWE, and who wouldn't want to be traveling with two of the most beautiful women in the world?
If I was Buddy Matthews, I'd be like, I got a sweetheart back in WWE and Rhea Ripley. I wouldn't leave her behind. Are you kidding me?
No chance.
Man, she's got Dominic Mysterio coming after her and Jey Uso and everybody else, man. Just get the hubby to show up. That'll take care of that problem in a hurry.
Correct.
But this is going to be very interesting to see where Malakai does end up when all this ends. So, but I'll say the other side of it for Malakai is, where does he fit into the picture? It's always that trick for everybody to say, well, if I go to, maybe they'll pay me more and this, that, and the other thing. And, but I guess it depends what your priorities are. If your priority is, I want to be the world champion, I want to be the Intercontinental champion, I want to be on top, that decision, you kind of have to look at the landscape and see if that's a realistic possibility. And I wonder if Malakai would be able to get there with everything going on, because then he's just back where he is right now in AEW.
I think we'll be able to tell a lot this Wednesday night when the House of Black faces FTR. If Tony goes back to FTR, winning and being the ultimate tag team and them chasing after Private Party, I think you can kind of tell where the House of Black's ranking in Tony's mind is. And, but if they do get that push and get that championship match against Private Party, you never know that this could be the starting point for a run one way or another. Maybe they lose to Private Party. Maybe they split up and they do their own thing. But, Malakai definitely deserves, in my opinion, more screen time, because he is the only person that generates feelings of Bray Wyatt for me. So maybe him going over to WWE, getting involved there, a lot of options.
What would you do in that scenario you just presented, Coach Rosey, with this tag team challenge coming up? You got House of Black and FTR. The winner is going to move on to be in that 4-way match at Full Gear. What would be your decision? Would you push FTR aside for them or not?
I would push FTR aside.
Wow.
As much as I love them, I think we need to see some new tag teams get a push for the championship. You saw how when Private Party finally got the championship, how over they were with the crowd. I think the AEW crowd, even though we love FTR, there are plenty of good tag teams that never have the opportunity to truly shine. And House of Black is the winningest trio of all time. Why not give them a tag team run?
You know, this tag team match, and I guess I don't want to dig too far into Full Gear yet. We'll get into the full card in a little bit, but they're going to have some very interesting decisions to make because they just put the belts on Private Party, a team that had been there for all 5 years of AEW from the start. They finally get their shot, and now you're going to throw them in. Let's say with the House of Black, the Outrunners are there, who are red hot right now, and whoever else ends up getting into this match. Tony's going to have a very tricky spot deciding who walks out of Full Gear with those world tag team titles. I'm going to be curious to see what he does.
And there's a lot of egos involved there, too. They kind of hinted last night on Collision that the Acclaimed are going to be, separating. MVP gave one of the two guys a card. So, you got the Acclaimed sitting in the background, too. But I think FTR and the Acclaimed, they've had their run, and now it's time for, these new tag teams to show what they have.
Well, what do you do with FTR if you decide you're going to put them on the back burner for a while? I mean, do you just not use them? Do you let Dax and Cash wrestle singles, who, both are very capable of doing so? They've shown that in the past. How do you handle a team like FTR if you're not going to put them in the championship picture?
Yeah, that's a good question. They were doing the stuff with the Outrunners and kind of gave them their push. But yeah, who knows? Maybe they're just going to keep building the younger tag teams up and going to give those younger teams and put them over a little bit and be a secondary team for a little bit while because they are going to bring the crowds. They are going to get their merch money, and people will come out to watch them. Win or lose, they're going to always root for FTR.
Yeah, that will be a very entertaining moment to see what happens with those guys. And, maybe you can find them a really good, mid-card tag team feud. It's been a while since we had a really good feud between two tag teams, like without the belts involved. I think,
or they go to Ring of Honor. They got Jericho as the tag team champ, or as a single champ. Why not go to Ring of Honor, become their tag team champs, get your own television show? You got a Hall of Fame wrestler as a singles champ and a Hall of Fame tag team as their tag champs. It's a good launching point.
Well, not bad. Not bad. Coach Rosey, always on it. He's thinking ahead. All right, we're going to take one more break, and we come back. We got Coach Rosey for a little bit longer here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the Talk of Las Vegas, the Odyssey app, and, of course, streaming live on YouTube, X, and Facebook. When we come back, are we happy with Cody Rhodes' title reign? I don't know. We'll talk to Coach Rosey about that. And one of our friends in the media shot their mouth off. We're going to get her. We'll be right back.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. Or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
101.5 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's keep this rolling. The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment in Las Vegas and around the planet on The Mark Hoke Show. We certainly do appreciate you joining us today here in Vegas and wherever else you are. Having a blast here with Josh Rosenbaum, Coach Rosey from adfreeshows.com. Coach, I saw an interesting article where WWE said that they were thrilled to death with Cody Rhodes' title reign, They really enjoy having a John Cena-esque figure up there. But the question is, do you think the fans are happy with Cody's reign and how it's gone? There's some talk that it's been okay, but not as captivating as some people would prefer. What do you think about Cody's reign so far? Because it looks like it's going to go through to WrestleMania unless there's some huge shocker development.
I'm enjoying it, but I'm biased because I love Cody. But if you take a look at the different aspects of it, he's fought a lot of different people, young and old, and he has developed a rapport with the kids. You know, it's kind of a shout back to like when I was a kid and we'd run up to Hulk Hogan. I mean, those were our idols. So to see a true babyface run where someone isn't going to be trying to pretend that they're a bad guy, but they're really a good guy, a true babyface, we finally have it. And Cody's the guy that's been doing it from arena to arena, from one side of the world to the other. He is making people smile. Now, is WWE happy? You're damn right they're happy. Look how much merch money they're making off of Cody.
Yeah.
T-shirts, belts, this, that, and the other. So the fans like us who are deeply involved and invested in the sport, you know, we're going to have our opinion on Cody. But the general fans, they love Cody Rhodes, and they're all about him being our champion.
Yeah, I can't help thinking back to Kevin Nash's comments that he made a little while ago that he said, you know, booking 101 is have the baby face in the chase, you know, and I do wonder about that. I don't necessarily agree with that, but, you know, because you've had successful champions over the years that were not baby faces, you know, but, you know, that may be the one where I get the one point about Cody's reign is the intensity that he had chasing Roman Reigns all that time. I don't know if that's quite there or if there's somebody right now that is bringing that same intense challenge to Cody at this point. You know, it's been
so
more.
Who beats him? You're Triple H. Who beats Cody right now?
That I don't know. Gunther was my guy, but he's got the other world championship right now. I'm not sure. I wouldn't know who you would knock him out with. No, that's a very difficult question because it's funny that, you know, AEW has so many heels on top, and WWE has got a lot of baby faces now running the show over there. So, I mean, it's not like there's not a lack of talent or anything there, but yeah, that is a good question. I'd have to really sit down and think about that. For sure.
We got a comment from New Music Inferno. He says Kevin Owens should be the one that beats Cody.
That wouldn't have been bad to me. I have a feeling. I mean, I've been clamoring for Kevin Owens or for Randy Orton to face Cody at WrestleMania, and I certainly wouldn't have a problem with Orton pulling something off there because I mean this whole trifecta thing with Kevin and Randy and Cody, I feel like that the roles are going to flip for Owens and Orton at some point. That something's going to come out that Kevin was actually the good guy in this whole thing. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing that. But of course, Randy got decked by Kevin on SmackDown, and they're saying there's some sort of neck injury, but of course that one's kind of a kayfabe one there. So we'll see how all that turns out. But yeah, it's a good question. You know, if you're going to knock him off, you better have somebody that can handle the top. So, you know, I do like New Music Inferno's Kevin Owens thought, and yes, that pile driver was awesome, no doubt.
Yeah.
This one bothered me, Coach. We got insulted the other day. You know, the politics just never seems to disappear, and we had a great discussion, by the way, on Thursday night about all the pro wrestlers that got involved in the election this year. And it's a great chat if you want to check it out on our YouTube channel. But this one just got me. And let me give me 1 second. But it was Joy Reid from MSNBC. Not one of my favorite people, I'll just say that. But her comments were along the lines of Oh, here it is. Sorry, I apologize. Here's what she said, Coach. My generation, Generation X, the people who grew up on WWE and Hulk Hogan and Donald Trump did this. They did this. They're the ones who looked in the face of somebody who looked them in the face and said, I want to be a dictator on day one. We did this. Coach, we've unleashed the dictator. It's WWE fans' fault. Really?
Hey, I never knew that people in the elite, the intellectuals, viewed us wrestling fans as an intelligent group of people that can band together. It's great to see that wrestling fans are starting to get the respect that we deserve. But when it comes to choosing a president, to a lot of people that were little Hulksters growing up, they're not big Hulksters because of some of the things that he did as an adult. So for them to say that every wrestling fan jumped on the bandwagon because of the Hulkster is an ignorant comment.
It's a terrible.
Wrestling fans are not robots. Well, yes, we have our favorites, but we understand the difference between politics and storylines. So thank you, Joy, for making us feel that we are an integral part of this society. But the ignorance behind that comment is blatant. And I think, if anything, the United States stepped up and made their voice. And whether you're for one side or the other, these next 4 years, we'll see what happens.
Look, I can tell you there are a lot of wrestling fans that are not conservatives. There's a ton of them. I mean, and especially in the wrestling media, I see everybody's sneaking their little shots in here and there. It's not a solid voting block of, we're a bunch of dumb rednecks or anything like that. So, Joy Reid, on behalf of all my friends that are wrestling fans, bite me. Just bite me. What a dimwit. Oh, I don't even know. Coach. But, yeah, we're actually getting close to the end there. Full Gear's coming up. That card is starting to settle in here a little bit, and we don't have a whole lot of time here, but we've got Mox and Cassidy for the title, Jack Perry, Daniel Garcia on the TNT title, Swerve and Bobby Lashley, Mercedes and Chris Statlander. We got the tag match we talked about, Jay White, Adam Page. MJF is either taking on Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, or both. And this match, I just wish we'd throw in the garbage can, the Big Boom AJ against QT Marshall. This sounds like a good card to me, Coach. I'm excited.
Yep. Jack Perry's going down. That's the only solid I see.
Are you sure? Wow.
Yes. If there's a betting site, let me know what the odds are against Jack Perry, because, again, he's someone that can just figure out something else. Who knows what the elite's going to be doing? They're kind of taking a hiatus. Maybe it's time for Jack Perry to hitch his horse to another post. But again, he doesn't need the title. That's my prediction. And they've really been pushing. I'm drawing a blank with the kid from Buffalo. They signed him. Yeah, right. They signed him to a huge contract. The fans love him, and to win it up there in the Northeast where he's from the New York area, to beat little California Nepo baby would be great. But the rest of the card, I think, should go to standard. No other upsets, but Jack Perry wins.
Fair enough. Real quick, Coach.
Jack Perry loses. Excuse me, I got a little caught up.
All good. Real quick, Coach, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm around Real Coach Rosey on X. A lot of cool stuff coming down the line. Just check us out over at Free Shows. And for the nostalgia, for wrestling, we have it all.
Sounds great. Coach, head to church. Have a great time. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. And, guys, make sure you check out adfreeshows.com. That's going to wrap up hour number 1 of the Mark Hoke Show. When we come back, hour 2, you got all of me. Brace yourselves. It's going to be a hoot. Yeah, thanks. Wouldn't be the first time. But we'll have a terrific time talking more pro wrestling. And on the other side, stick around. We'll be right back.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show.
Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.